Hi again, everyone. 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm. Weather for Weather Geeks time on this Tuesday evening, the 12th day of September. We've had a decent enough day so far, but a few things to talk about that are a little bit interesting over the next couple of days. Certainly, first, a little review of the first 12 days of September compared to last year. It's been quite a contrast. We had a hot start to the month of September last year. Our average temperature, when you combine the highs and lows, was 70, well above the average. But this year, only 59.4 through the first 12 days of the month. So about 11 degrees difference, 10.5, 11 degrees difference from this year to last year when it comes to the first almost 2 weeks of September. And you'll notice on our big picture for tomorrow, if the month ended today, this will be the ninth coolest September on record. Well, the month doesn't end today, of course. We've got a lot of September left to go. But again, just kind of illustrating how cool it's been. It's also been fairly dry. Only 3/4 of an inch worth of rain through the first 12 days of the month at the airport, and we're not going to add much to that over the next few days. Time-lapse video time from today, our Window World weather camera in Columbiana showing the veil of high cloudiness that's been around for a lot of the day. Occasionally it looked kind of bright, and then skies tried to darken from the south as we got into the late afternoon and into the early evening, and eventually those clouds started producing a little bit of rain, particularly in Columbiana County. When I recorded Weather Geeks this evening at 7:17 p.m., a touch of rain, Salem, Columbiana, but some of this isn't even reaching the ground. There's a lot of dry air in the lower levels of the atmosphere, so this isn't amounting to much more than sprinkles and just a touch of rain. What's left of Irma is finally spinning down here across parts of the deep south. You can kind of put a low-pressure system right in through, here, and that's the remnants of Irma. GOES 16, high-resolution, gorgeous visible satellite this evening shows a lot of clouds to our south, and of course the clouds that we've seen today associated with those remnants of Irma. Elsewhere in the tropics, this is Hurricane Jose, barely a hurricane, out in the Atlantic, and Jose is not looking great on the satellite this evening, and my suspicion is that Jose will never become a powerhouse again. This was at one point a pretty impressive-looking hurricane. I'm showing you this just because it's sort of interesting, not expecting impacts in the U.S. at this point. What Jose is actually probably going to do is a little loop-de-loop here. It's a little hard to see on the graphic, but it's forecast to do a little loop-de-loop before doing this and heading up to the northeast. Now, how close this comes to, say, the Outer Banks of North Carolina or maybe eventually Cape Cod, if it takes the most far left end of the cone here, this could be a problem for beachgoers, surfers, that sort of thing. Becoming a little less of a concern, of course, now that we're into mid-September, but still, a landfall seems very unlikely at this point anywhere along the East Coast. Back here at home, tomorrow is going to be another fairly uneventful day. Some showers here and there tonight, sprinkles in some spots. I think tomorrow there can be some intervals of decent sunshine right around midday before the clouds start pushing back in later in the afternoon. While there could be a stray shower before sunset tomorrow, I think the higher risk of wet weather is after sunset and into tomorrow night, some showers around, and that's going to kind of set the stage for a damp and cool Thursday. I don't think the rain gets heavy at all on Thursday. In fact, it'll probably just spit and drizzle and be kind of murky a lot of the day, but that's going to keep temperatures in check. I've backed our high temperature forecast back into the upper 60s on Thursday. Thankfully, we'll get that kind of lousy day out of the way before the weekend. Friday's a transitional day. Mix of sun and clouds. I can't totally rule out a passing shower Friday with these clouds around, but I don't think it's much. I think we're dry for high school football Friday evening. And then, a nice weekend forecast coming up. All right, our computer modeling for the remnants of Irma taking us through Thursday night, all generally 1/4 of an inch or less. And we've been talking about this since late last week, that Irma is very, very unlikely to bring any sort of significant weather to eastern Ohio and western PA. All right, the longer range, there's some good news here in the longer range if you're not happy about how cool it's been lately. The trends as we go into mid-September are looking warmer. After that little cool spell on Thursday, notice the above-average temperatures shifting back into the Great Lakes over the weekend. And while it might turn a few degrees cooler middle of next week, kind of back to normal maybe in the mid-70s for a day or two, check out the trends late next week. This is around the 21st of the month. Cool in the west, warm in the east. We haven't said that very much lately, but this is the pattern, we think, as we go into kind of the third week of September. A pattern we haven't seen much. Trough out here, ridge over here, and That's going to kind of manifest itself in a pretty warm compared to average period. Looks like for a lot of the end of next week and heading into the following weekend. So here's Saturday the 23rd, Sunday the 24th. So, all of September isn't going to be like it has been. I think we're going to get into a good week to 10-day period here where it can be warm, at least by September standards. Warm in September usually doesn't mean 90s. It means we might hit the lower 80s. And that would still be about 10 degrees above average for the second half of September. Thanks for checking out tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here tomorrow night. Updated 7-day forecast, the radar, everything else you need to know tonight on 21 News at 11.